Written in the 13th century, the Gulistan is a cornerstone of Persian moral philosophy. Its ornate pages present simple fables that confront the jagged reality of absolute power and the human cost of a single word. Its author, Sheikh Saadi of Shiraz, spent decades traveling the Islamic world. He was a master observer of human nature, watching how power operated across society, from the lowest laborers to the absolute rulers of empires. To understand the weight of his stories, you have to understand the environment of a medieval Persian royal court. The Padshah, the king, held terrifying, unchecked authority. His mood alone dictated who lived and who died. In one of Saadi's famous fables, a bruised, helpless prisoner is dragged into this imposing space and forced to his knees before the elevated throne. The Padshah looks down at the man and makes a cold calculation. With a single gesture, he issues an immediate order for the prisoner's execution. Normally, this is where a man begs for mercy, but Saadi explores what happens when a human being reaches the psychological threshold of absolute despair. When you realize flight is impossible and death is inescapable, fear evaporates, the social contract breaks, and a raw, dangerous honesty takes over. Realizing his life is forfeit, the desperate man becomes, as Saadi writes, like a vanquished cat assailing a dog. Having nothing left to lose, the prisoner explodes, hurling the foulest, most venomous insults imaginable directly at the monarch. Curious tone, but he's shouting in a localized, obscure dialect. The Padshah pauses, confused by the sudden outburst, and demands his advisors translate exactly what the man is saying. A high-ranking advisor, a good-natured vizier, steps forward. He reads the terrifying tension in the room and sees a narrow window to intervene. Driven by compassion, the vizier delivers a highly strategic lie. He tells the king that the prisoner isn't insulting him at all, but rather reciting holy scripture, crying out, "Allah loveth the beneficent, those who bridle their anger and forgive men." The lie works. By framing the prisoner's final words as an appeal to divine forgiveness, the vizier forces the king to pivot from personal vengeance to a display of religious piety. The room's atmosphere shifts instantly as the monarch's wrath is replaced by a public performance of mercy. That fragile peace is violently interrupted. A second vizier, a fierce political rival of the first, steps out of the shadows. He appeals directly to strict court protocol. He argues that men of their high rank must never speak anything but absolute factual truth in the presence of the throne. Then he provides the true translation. He exposes the good vizier's lie and repeats the actual foul, grotesque insults the prisoner leveled at the king. The second vizier disguises his action as loyalty, but his strict adherence to the facts is entirely malicious. He is weaponizing the truth to guarantee a helpless man's execution, solely to undermine his political opponent. Saadi forces a choice between two competing values, a falsehood spoken to save a life, and a factual record maintained specifically to destroy one. The king absorbs the real translation, but instead of punishing the liar, he turns a cold, deep displeasure toward the truth-telling antagonist. The Padshah delivers his final verdict. "That lie was more acceptable to me than this truth thou hast ethered." He concludes that a falsehood resulting in conciliation is superior to a truth producing trouble. Choosing to validate the moral intention over the factual record, the Padshah fully pardons the prisoner. Saadi then shifts our focus away from this single event to the broader historical reality of the Hall of Faridun, a reminder that all human empires, no matter how absolute their power, eventually collapse into ruin. An inscription on that ancient hall warns that worldly possessions are a trap. The earth cherishes rulers for a brief moment, only to eventually slay them. The throne and the ground are the same in the end. Saadi concludes that when power is fleeting, the goodness left behind matters more than the technical accuracy used to inflict pain.